Welcome to the Jeff Fitzgerald Football Show, brought to you by 3B Equipment. I'm Mike Downauer, and with me is head football coach Jeff Fitzgerald. Coach, you started off the second part of the season on the road, first game of district, and you came back with the win. How did that feel getting ready to get back on that bus to come back home, knowing that the first one's under the belt and it was a W?
Man, you work all year long for 10 guaranteed opportunities, and anytime you win one of them, it's always great. Pineville's an extremely tough place to play. We always have a lot of difficulty when we go down there for whatever reason. It's always tough for us, and to get on the bus to come home with a victory is awesome.
As we talked in the postgame show, defense was outstanding, special teams was outstanding, offense struggled. And let's first of all look at special teams. Your kicker kicked 2 field goals, but more importantly, when Pineville had first and goal at the 3, you had a defensive stand and then blocked that field goal. I mean, talk about that area first.
Well, we definitely played hard on the defensive side of the ball, and we still made a lot of mistakes. We got a lot of room for improvement, but our kids played hard, and that's what we ask of them, is to play. And a lot of times defensively, you get lined up right and you play hard, good things happen. And we showed that. And it doesn't matter what team's on the field, it's hard to hold them out from the 3-yard line. And so
right.
We showed some backbone there to be able to make that stop and then block that field goal.
Going into halftime, you said it was like cobwebs on the offensive, in the offensive area with what they were trying to do. Did that get fixed to your satisfaction?
I think it came down to focus. We weren't real focused. Some of our guys just didn't have the focus that they needed to. I mean, we dropped a couple of touchdown passes in the first half, and we ended up fumbling the ball. And I mean, it was just some little things that we weren't as focused as we should have been, and it's very frustrating when it's like that. But that's part of just the way things go sometimes.
After a game like that, you obviously had some standouts, your freaks of the week this week. Let's start with offense.
Offensively, Josh Newton. Josh Newton came up with a big
man, was that a run. That was a great catch and run.
Great run, and but he had that one, and then had a post for a touchdown, that had another big post for a big play that led to a touchdown. So, I mean, a very good night for him with 3 touchdowns, and one of them, man, I don't know, I'm still shaking my head how he made that run,
right,
but
right.
Was an incredible performance by him. And obviously Jabari had to get him the football, right. And the offensive line had to block long enough to allow that to happen, and but he still had to catch it because we had other dudes dropping it, and he came up with the catches. So it was a big night for Josh Newton, freak of the week.
Big night defensively overall, but who ended up being the freak of the week?
Freak of the week was Devin Wallace. It was his first game to start this year, and the guy made he took advantage of the situation and had an opportunity to get on the field and prove that he belonged on the field. 7 tackles, 2 PBUs, an interception. I mean, it was a really big night for him. And I'm telling you, man, he is a guy that works his tail off all year, has a tremendous attitude year-round, regardless of whatever situation he may be in, whether he's on the field or on the sideline. I mean, the guy does things right. And so when you have a young man that does those little things right like that, and has a great attitude and is a good character guy, man, it just makes it that much greater, and it makes you feel that much better for him and happy for him that he was our freak of the week.
And speaking of, let's go to special teams, and I have no doubt who's going to get that award.
Christian Kukul. I'm telling you, it was so fun. We've gone back and watched the clip of him catching the ball and knees wobbling and freezing up and getting hit and everything, and in there, I mean, it's funny, but he did a tremendous job. I don't think he knows how important what he's doing is, and we hope that it stays that way, that he doesn't understand the importance of it.
Right.
But man, he accounted for 8 points by himself, 2 field goals and then 2 extra points.
Right, and those field goals were not chip shots either. Those things, and as he was kicking them, they looked like they'd have been good for another 10, 15 yards or so.
He's got a tremendous leg on him. He is definitely gifted with the ability to kick a football. And there's a lot of guys that have a strong leg and can kick a soccer ball, and we've tried out tons of dudes to come over and try to kick, and man, he's just got the gift of kicking a football.
All right. Well, we'll come back. It's Ruston this week. We'll come back and take a look at that. You're tuned in to the Jeff Fitzgerald Football Show, brought to you by Barry Collins and CFM Enterprises.
Hello, I'm Ross Downs of the Downs Law Firm. We're a personal injury law firm that handles cases involving 18-wheeler crashes, automobile wrecks, pedestrian accidents, as well as slip, trip, and fall. We practice in 3 different states, the states of Louisiana, Arkansas, and Mississippi. Our legal team has approximately 50 years of combined legal experience handling these types of cases, and we've had many settlements and verdicts that have exceeded over $1 million on a repeated basis. What separates the Downs Law Firm from other personal injury type law firms is the personal care and attention that we give to each case. We're with our clients every step of the way. We advise them through issues surrounding the liability issues of a wreck or a personal injury. We also help and handle issues involving any medical questions or medical treatment that the client may need, and we try to assist them with making good decisions on what they need to do to try to get better and over their injuries on a timely and quick basis. We would invite you to contact us if you've been involved in any type of personal injury or suffered from an accident. Our legal team is here, we're available, and we'd like to visit with you. Please give us a call if we can be of further assistance. Thank you very much.
Welcome back to the Jeff Fitzgerald Football Show, brought to you by Planet Fitness. Coach, Ruston Bearcats, man, we've looked at them, and they seem to be one of the toughest teams they've had in years. These guys, they look good.
They are. They're a very good football team. Hands down the most talented team that I've seen Ruston have. Definitely the most talented Ruston team I've coached against. Definitely one of the most talented teams in our schedule. I mean, they are a really good football team. You can try to stop the run, they can throw it on you. You can step back and try to defend the pass, and they're going to run it on you.
Right.
So, and then defensively, they're extremely talented up front on the defensive side of the ball, and I mean, they get after you.
And they've got a good kicker too, so that's another one. That's another aspect.
They make it very difficult.
They do. All right, let's go back, and I don't want to pick the scab off the wound, but last year you guys, have a good, strong halftime lead, pretty good lead going into fourth quarter, and then that Ruston rally came. And 2 of the main guys that led that rally are, Taj Samuel and Outley, the quarterback. They were only juniors, which means you got to face them again tonight.
And that rally, we helped them a lot in that rally.
Well, they're taking advantage of miscues.
We did some very foolish things and gave them the opportunity, and they did take advantage of it. And I don't want to take anything away from them. They're dang good players. When you see them on the hook, they're not super impressive, but man, they sure play with a lot of heart. Outley's a good little ball player. He takes care of the football. He can run. He can throw, but doesn't take any unnecessary risk. I mean, he is a sharp football player. And then Taj Samuel, I mean, he's an animal on the field.
Right.
Plays offensively at fullback, and
Well, he's got 3 receptions this year, all for touchdowns.
yeah, and from the fullback position.
Yeah.
They run veer and power, veer and power, veer and power, and then they hit you with a power pass and hit him in the flats. And I think the one run was 60 yards he had against Neville, and that's a defensive end slash fullback that's going 60 yards against an extremely fast football team. And so he's a good player. And then defensively, they play him at defensive end. They play him at linebacker.
Right.
He's all over the field. He's one of the better players that I've seen, and definitely one of the better players this year that we're going against.
They went toe-to-toe with West Monroe for at least 3 quarters last week. They ended up losing 28-14. But when you, and if you don't want to answer this the way I want you to answer it, I understand, but when you focus on the running game, I mean, DeAndre, their running back, he's already committed to Louisiana Tech. They're going to burn you with the pass on those receivers on the side. If you focus on that, they got that big tight end Ray Parker coming out. How do you cover everybody?
Man, you do the best you can. I think it's almost impossible to cover it all. And at the end of the day, you got to put your kids in good situations where they know what to do. And we've got a couple of defensive sets that we line up in. Our kids know what to do. We're going to play fast and we're going to play physical. And at the end of the day, we hope that they make more mistakes than we do, because usually the team that makes the most mistakes comes up a little short.
Right.
When you look at it, you look at that West Monroe film. They're a dang good football team now, and the punter fumbles a snap, gives the ball to West Monroe on the 9-yard line. It's 14-14 at that point, and so when you look at it, it's kind of a tide turner there, where it wasn't so much what West Monroe did, because there was no pressure. The punter just fumbled the ball.
Similar to what Washita did for Ruston last year.
Yeah, very similar. And so you know, they made some mistakes, and Western Road capitalized on those mistakes. But man, Ruston's good. They're a really good football team, and probably the most well-rounded football team. I would say they are the most well-rounded football team that we faced this year. You know, Plaquemine, extremely talented defensively, but was extremely one-dimensional offensively.
Right.
And
very physical, though.
Very extremely physical team. I don't know that, you know, Ruston's physical. It's going to be hard for them to match the physicality of Plaquemine, but they're a more well-rounded football team that they can run, they can throw, and then defensively they're very simple, man. They're a lot like we are. They're going to give you, you know, a 4-2-5 cover 3 or man, and they're going to line up and play football and be very basic and sound in what they do.
I'm going to turn you into a Bearcat for a minute. Bearcats head coach, what do you tell your team before you walk out on your home field against these Ouachita Lions?
You better play relentless training from the heart, because the Lions are definitely going to be coming to town looking for a victory, hungry for a victory, especially coming off of you know, an upset last year, right, where they you know, Ruston wins in overtime.
All right.
So
let's go to the other locker room. You are you now. What do you tell your team as you get ready to go on that field?
I mean, the same thing. I mean, we know it's going to be a war. We're on their turf. They're going to be fighting, scratching, and clawing for everything, and we got to play relentless, violent, angry line football.
Angry line football. That's good. I like that. Got to remember that one for future games coming up. Coach, we're about to do the Hickson Has It keys to the game. What is your #1 key to the game for a Ouachita win?
We've got to take care of the football and be good tacklers.
All right. You heard it straight from head football coach. And we'll be talking to you at halftime and again at postgame. You have been tuned in to the Jeff Fitzgerald Football Show, brought to you by Slagle McGuffey and RE/MAX Realty.